Why don't we take it into an easy seat this morning? A little length in the spine, a lot of softness in the low back, relaxing away shoulders, releasing face, eyes are happy. Taking the body scan. What's going on in the body? Are you holding tension somewhere? My shoulder wants to shrug up, so I'm going to set it down. And so the thing I always like to point out in morning classes is even if you've been up since dawn before that, you still are probably going to be a little more stiff than you would be at, say, 5:30 or even noon. Our bodies warm up with movement. You might notice that as we start our practice together. So trying to soften tight spots. Inhaling breath deep into the body. Lengthening out inhales and exhales. Using the space to clear your mind. To forget about the body now. Not think toward the day ahead of you, but trying to find true presence. That one pinpoint of focus. Once you have your intention, or maybe you're just focusing on your breath, I want you to fill up and sigh out. Something so releasing about a sigh out. Let's take one more big inhale, biggest breath of the day so far. Audible sigh out. Tip the right ear, right shoulder. Ooh, lots of space in the left. Chin across. Left to left. Tucking and rolling. Of course, pausing anywhere you might need a little extra time. And then maybe taking full circles, maybe you say, not for me this morning. No wrong answers in yoga, but moving slow. Full circles. Start reversing your direction, half circles. Just keep taking those slow rolls. And then, let's collectively inhale our heads up high, put lots of length in the spine. We're going to start with hands on knees. I love a Sufi grind. Inhaling, chest over legs. Exhaling, a nice big arc. Connecting breath to movement. Opening right up in the low back. I always have you inhale, press forward, and exhale, round. But I know some of you have told me that you actually prefer to exhale forward and inhale round. I suppose since it is a little bit different than, say, our traditional cats and cows, as long as you're connecting breath to movement, you're finding that bit of mindfulness, and that's perfectly great. All right, let's switch up that direction. Rounding, still connecting breath to movement, and finding lots of release in your low back. And here we go. Inhale, zip up tall. Find some length. Inhale, sweeps hands overhead now. Right hand comes down to the mat. Big reach. Opening up side body. Little lift of the chest up. Really opening up outside the hip. And then we inhale, float up. Left comes down. Exhale, big reach. Just a little tilt of the heart to the ceiling. So we know we're opening up out of side body and not low back. I've been talking about it a lot in class. But sometimes for those of us experiencing low back stiffness, what we really need is to open up our side body. We have this muscle that when it's tight, it can really tighten up the whole low back. So let's inhale, come up, take a little tip to our hands and knees, spread through the fingers, tabletop. So really find that strong connection between thumb and index, and let's spend a little time with the wrist. Taking a little rock back as you bring your fingers towards your knees. Maybe one hand down. I should say top of one hand down. For those of us who have to go work on our computers after this, a little warm up of the wrist. Might keep things a little more limber as you jump on the keyboard. And then start bringing your fingers forward. Nice and neutral. So we've got the upper body feeling a little bit warm. Let's curl our toes and start working on the low body. So seat lifts. We're in our first downward facing dog of this class. We're lifting our seat up high as we pedal, opposite heel to the floor. Oh. And then walk your feet into your hands. Inhale the half lift. Exhale, hinge. So you know your options. Arms could hang, you could grab elbows, or you could interlace behind the head. Again though, if your spine isn't quite awake just yet, be really mindful with this interlace behind the head. Something teaching has taught me is that my spine, no matter what I do, truly does not wake up until like midday. Knees are nice and soft, we're swaying, we're releasing neck. And then we'll release our hands and take our nice, slow roll to stand. With head coming up last. Now we're in our strong mountain pose or Tadasana, completely grounded through our feet. Circle the shoulders back a couple times. Really intentional here. Inhale, lift into your chest. So this is why I wanted you to bring something in place of a block. And I'm going to keep asking you to bring something in place of a block. But I'll keep showing you how to modify as well. We're going to take right knee and we're going to cross it over left. We're going to inhale, sweep our hands up. We're going to roll down, back to our forward fold. This is one of my absolute favorites. It works the sides of the legs, sort of gets into the IT band. It's a little bit different than just a regular forward fold. Knees are very soft. So if you don't have that block substitute, maybe you want to add a little extra softness in the knees and really use your fingertips. But even something as short as a book can help you find bigger release here. Just a little something to prop your hands up that isn't quite as low as the floor. Step stool, something stationary, works just lovely here as well. So again, making this pose comfortable for your body, using what you have, releasing the head, softening into the legs. Let's roll up. I still always try and bring my head up last, really mindful, so as not to get a head rush. And then we'll cross left over right. Inhale, sweep, and roll down. Hinging right at the waistline. You'll open up low back a little bit here, but really the focus is on the legs. The knees are quite soft, especially that back right knee. The left knee really wants to push it straight. Don't let it. And then we'll inhale, roll up. These roll ups can be a little faster. We just never want to see stars. Uncross, take your steps, release your knees. So get any makeshift props, blocks, scarves out of the way. Come up to the front of your mat. Give your hands an inhale, sweep, and then take your hinge. Now maybe those legs are feeling really open. Inhale, half lift, reach ears out of shoulders, hands to mat. Spread through the fingers, find the first high plank. Because it is our first flow, let's lower knees, chest, chin. Take the 8-point chaturanga. Feet back, tops of feet down. Inhale, we're going to stay for 2 rounds of cobra. Elbows in, shoulders soft. No help from the hands. Exhale, lower. Inhale, come up, pressing tops of feet down. Now I'm using my hands, maybe 20%, coming up just a little higher. Checking in with my low back. I'm going to lower. Give my toes a curl. My seat a lift. Press back. And find downward facing. Take a step or a walk to the front. Inhale up half. Exhale your dive. Inhale, sweeps hands overhead. Exhale your back bend. Inhale to center. Exhale to hinge. Inhale up half. High plank, spread through your hands, grounded. Alright, we took an 8-point chaturanga. That's always on the table, yogis. But if you'd rather just lower to your knees or lower your chest with your seat and come all the way down, we're still pressing tops of feet down and inhaling up to a cobra. And then we're giving toes a curl. We're lifting feet back to our downward facing. Come to the top. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale your seat back, your hands up, right into chair. I'm going to turn and face so you can see what's going on with me. Weight is in my heels. I'm picking up my toes. That's just a weight check. Shoulders are soft. Spine's lifted. Hands come to heart. Let's continue opening up our back. A little inhale forward so we can twist to the left. Take a little peek at your knees. Make sure right probably left right now isn't peeking in front of right. Press through your palms. Really try and open your chest. And then take an inhale to center. And an exhale to the left. Hooking out the right elbow. Pressing through the palms, open back. Inhale to center. Hands overhead. Sit deep, deep, deep. Inhale, fill. Exhale, hinge. Half lift. High plank. Flow of your choosing. Everyone ready for a chaturanga? Coming halfway. No worries if you're not. Tops of feet pressing as you inhale, up dog or cobra. Moving in downward facing. Float your right toes, get a nice reach going. Step your right foot between your hands and open left. Warrior two position, so pinky edge almost parallel to the back of the mat. Spiral open the hands. Really pressing through pinky edge. You know you can tilt your toes to the top left corner to take pressure out of your knee. We want to be putting about 50% of our weight in this back foot. That's why pressing into pinky edge is so important. Right knee on top of right ankle. Toe open so you can see your right big toe. Gaze over front right fingers. Big inhale. Right hand down. Left hand overhead. Extended side angle. You know your options. Right elbow could be on right knee, in front of it. You could drop fingers to where they brush your mat, or they don't have to. If you're working with a block alternative, or even a block, it could come up to your fingers. So we've been spending a lot of time opening our back. Here's why. I love a revolve side angle. Left hand comes down. This is why I think that block alternative is so important. I prefer it for the extra stability as I bring my right fingers up. Of course, if you don't have one, maybe you're shortening up, maybe you're sinking, really still trying to leave knees stacked. And bring right hand up. How does that twist feel in the back? Unwind. Arms long. Warrior two. Take all the hint of softness out of the right knee. Flip right palm. Exhale, reverse. So instead of taking a reverse or a peaceful warrior, we're reversing a triangle. Left hand, right now for me, is on my low back and taking a half bind. But I'm going to stop that. I'm going to bring my left hand to my left leg, and here's why. I'm going to switch out my hands. So my right hand's going to find my left leg, and my left hand's going to come up. I'm going to inhale lots of length into my spine, and I'm going to look over my right shoulder. I love a reverse revolve triangle. So big inhale to fill. Exhale, sink. Right back to warrior two. Long and strong. Cartwheel frame. Spin your left toes to the front. Step back, downward facing dog. Drop your forearms to the mat. Find a dolphin pose. We're going to go deeper into our calves, pressing heels towards the mat just like we would in our down dog. And then we'll take our palms to the mat. We'll lift up our seat. We'll exhale, block step, maybe even jump to the top of our mat. We'll inhale, half lift. Exhale, hinge. And then inhale your hands up your seat back, right to chair. Sorry if I tricked you a little bit there. Shoulders relax. Hands to heart. We're going to take that twist series again. Inhale forward, twist to the right. Don't let left knee peek out in front. That's not what we want. Press through palms. Now that the back has been opening up, would you like to open up your arms, go a little deeper yet? If you're like, no, that's perfectly okay. Close up your arms. Inhale to center. And take a little twist to the left. Hook. Make sure that right knee doesn't come jutting out. Press through the palms. Do you want to open? Close it up. Inhale, hands overhead. Sit deep into your chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up half. High plank. Lowering all or halfway doesn't matter. Tops of feet down. Inhale, back bend. Give the toes a curl. Lift the seat. Downward facing. Take your pedals. Ooh. Inhale, float your left toes. Get a good reach going. Step the foot between the hands. Open right foot, warrior two. Press through that pinky edge. Spiral open your arms. Strong setup. Back leg doing 50% of the work. Left knee open to see left big toe. Fingers overhead. All right, big inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Oh, big reach. What are you doing with left hand? It's the variation of your choosing, always. Big inhale. Right hand comes down. Don't forget, grab that book, those extra inches if you need them. Inhale, left up. Unwind and land in your warrior two. Bring all but a hint of softness out of your left knee. We're going to reverse our triangles. Flip left, exhale, reverse. Naturally, I just want to go to that half bind, so I am going to hold it for just a beat. And then I'll bring right hand down the right leg, just so I know where left is going. I use it as sort of a map. All right, so my right hand on my right leg, I'm going to switch it out. Left is going to come back in. Right's going to sweep up. Reverse, revolve. Just like before, I'm looking over my left shoulder and back at my heel. The big neck opener, the upper body twist. Inhale, fill. Exhale, sink. Warrior two. Cartwheel frame. And this time we'll step back into our high plank and we'll rinse out that warrior triangle series with the flow. So exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Give the toes a curl. Lift the seat, find the downward facing. Drop the knees. Uncurl the toes. Let's take a midway child's pose check-in. We have done so much to open the low back, but the upper back as well. How does your body feel? Do you feel that opening? Is it noticeable? Jaws are soft. Focus is on breath. Returning to any intention you may have set, clearing out, making space in your brain. Inhale to your tabletop. Take your forearm to the mat. Stack elbows under shoulders. Walk your toes back. Yep, we're landing in a forearm plank. This has been my new favorite. If you remember, I did it a couple times in class. Left fingers are going to find right elbow, and we're going to take our roll to the left. So we're here in a forearm side plank. You know your left knee can always drop, and you're still going to build up strength in your core. Your feet could be staggered, one in front of the other, stacked, one on top. If your knee's down, we're going to want to move it out of the way because we are going to come down to our left hip completely. We're going to reach our left elbow in front of us. We're going to cradle our head with our left hand. See how my right leg is stacked on my left? I'm going to bend my knee. I'm going to catch my foot. Called Vishnu's couch. Doesn't it look sort of like Dancer on the side? I'm getting a nice big quad opening here, but without adding the balance to it. Alright, release your foot. Head onto your belly, palms under the shoulders, tops of feet pressing down. Inhale, cobra. Elbows draw together, shoulders relax. I'm going up higher in my cobra. You're doing what feels good for you. Lower. Give the toes a curl under. Downward facing dog. I'm going to flip. You keep holding your downward facing dog. And this time we're going to get into it a little bit more challenging. So we're going to take our forearms to the mat. Remember our dolphin pose. Coming back. Taking the pedals. Big opening. Walk toes back. There you have it. Forearm plank. Slightly more challenging. Right fingers meet left elbow. Take your roll to the right. Here you are now in your forearm side plank. Are you dropping right knee, knowing you'll still build strength in your core? Are your feet staggered, stacked? What's going on here? Set your right hip down. Left leg stacked on right. Elbow comes out. We cradle head here in our Vishnu's couch. Bending our left knee, catching the top of left foot. Just like you would in that balancing dancer pose. Your only goal here is to open your quad and focus on your breathing. And then release. Come on to the belly. Palms under your shoulders. We're going to inhale, roll up. I'm going to go even higher in my cobra. If you're like, nah, I'm going to keep my cobra a little lower, that's fine if you're being true to your body. And I'm going to roll down. Give my toes a curl under just like I would if I was taking a flow. And I'm going to find downward facing. I'm going to come in for a little pedal. I'm going to take a step to the top. I'm going to inhale up half. I'm going to dive. I'm going to inhale up all the way. Take your back bend. And then this is it. Inhale, center, final flow. Exhale, hinge. Half lift. Final high plank. Final lower through the flow, whether you're coming all or half. Inhaling your back bend, pressing tops of feet down, giving toes a curl, downward facing. Head to the knees. Uncurl the toes. And stand up on your knees. Arms by your sides. So if you have a blanket and you need that extra cushion for your knees, pop the blanket under your knees. We've been warming up our back. I think we're ready for this. We're going to take a little camel warm-up. It can be the camel you find every time. That's perfectly okay. So hands to the low back, almost like you're trying to put them in back pockets, even though if you're wearing yoga pants, you probably don't have back pockets. And what I'm going to do here is draw my elbows and my shoulder blades together. And that enough is giving me a bit of a chest stretch. See how my knees are stacked right underneath my hips? Part of the reason I had you open your quads is because what we're going to do here is engage our quads, stack our hips, really press our low body forward as we draw elbows and shoulder blades together. And inhale, look up. Camel. It's really sort of a half camel, but again, could be the camel you always find. Bring your head up, take a look ahead, take your arms by your sides. Take a little tip forward, tabletop. What's going on in your back? You might need just a moment here. That first inhale to cow after a camel, I always really feel it. So I start with really shallow cats and cows. Easing my back open. Connecting breath to movement, a lovely little mindful meditation. Inhales, lifting. Exhales, rounding. Let's take one more, because if you're like me, your back has started to loosen up. The knees might be feeling pretty good. And then bring it to neutral. Head back up to the knees. So what we're going to do here is leave our left knee down. So if you're using a blanket, you have that extra cushion under your left. Right leg's going to come long. And I always tell you, your toes could be facing completely forward, completely 90 degrees, or anywhere in between. Whatever's nice on your ankle and your knee, no straining. Inhale, sweep. Right hand comes down, right leg, and we're reaching left overhead. Constantly opening up side body. This is called our gait. Inhale, float up. Left hand comes down. Right fingers reach. So before we took a forearm plank to get to our big quad stretch. Now we're taking a side plank variation, of course. So if you want to play with floating your foot, you could. If you're like, not today, that works. Let's inhale, come back up, nice and reach. Set the hand down, tuck the knee in. All right, we're going to come in for one more round of camel. And I'm going to give you one more option. So we just opened up our right side body, so we'll start on the right. You know that this camel variation, always, always, always an option, especially since we don't have a ton of props. But if you are using something like a thick book, or maybe you even want to just give your right toe a curl under, I always tell students this does put more pressure on my knees, so it's not always my favorite. But quads are engaged. Maybe you're coming here, hands to low back. Or maybe you're reaching for right heel and bringing left hand forward, finding a half camel. Like this. Oh, I just got the best crack in my chest. And if you're using your book, just making sure those pages don't open up, but enjoying that bit of height, quads engaged, hips stack. Variation of your choosing. Let's stay for one more round of breath. I know you've got it. Inhale, come up. Ooh. Take a moment here. So in class, I usually have you come down to a heroes to neutralize. I'm going to do that again. A book might not work as well. Sometimes I'll have you drop a block between your heels. If you don't have a block to work with at home, I highly recommend you sit on your heels, or maybe you skip the pose altogether and come right to a tabletop. I love Heroes though because it opens up the ankles and the shins. It's very neutralizing to the back. We can practice finding release in our shoulders. Again though, if you can't get comfortable in this pose without a block, just head to a table. There's our other neutral back position. Tip forward. Spread through your fingers. So if you're not already there, tip forward. Start with those shallow cats and cows. Find release in the back as you connect breath to movement. Exhaling and arcing. Inhaling and lifting, getting lost in the flow. One more. Exhale takes you to neutral. Head to the knees. Put that cushion under right knee if you're using a little bit of cushion. Left comes out. Find what works in your ankle, your foot, your knee. Inhale, big sweep. Left hand down, big reach of right overhead. We're always kind of tilting our heart to the ceiling, so we open up from side body. The looser our side body, the looser our low back. I cannot stress that enough. Inhale, float up. Right hand comes down. Spread those fingers, grounding. Big reach. Again, another side body opener. We're in a side plank. If you want to test the strength of your core, you could float your foot. If you're like, not this morning, no big deal. Inhale, come up. Tuck in left. So your options are always, you could find that camel variation with hands in your back pocket. It's a great place to be. It feels awesome in the chest. If you tried and you have camel variation on the right and you want to try it again on the left, you know your options are curling left toes under, bringing your heel a little higher. If you don't have something like a book or even a can of vegetables, anything that you can, that's nice and steady. Quads are engaged, stacked over knees, hips are stacked. We want that whole low body active as we reach right hand forward and then back. This pose can feel a little scary, exposing our heart and our throat, such an unnatural thing for people to do. We're taking big breaths. If you're in the variation where your hands are in your back pockets, nothing is different. Same deal. Big breaths to relax the body and say it's okay to release into this pose. We'll stay for one more breath. And then we'll inhale, come up. Ooh. Let everything go. If you're comfortable, let's sit one more Heroes. You know, I suppose if you were using something like a book, you could use it just like a block, so you're not putting as much pressure in your shins or ankles. If that's not at your disposal, you know that tabletop is a nice neutral place because we're finding a long spine. So I'm sitting on my heels in this Heroes, and sometimes I offer you to open up your heels, pop your seat between. We did open up our quads, so if you're ready for it, by all means. If you're not, No worries, we're not going to be here terribly long. I do want you to clear your mind with a couple rounds of inhales and exhales though. Whether you're in a table or a heroes. So it's all tipped forward into a tabletop. Nice and neutral. Just a couple rounds of the cats and the cows. And then exhale down, and we're going to come into one final child's pose. So knees together or knees mat distance apart with torso drop between, fingers reaching, forehead down. A strong sense of grounding here. Inhales inflating the backs of the lungs, head clearing with every exhale. What are you letting go of in this pose? And then inhale and come up. Find your table. Draw your knees together. I'm going to give you two options here. So you could curl your toes, find a final downward facing dog. You could drop your right knee behind your right wrist, your left knee down. I keep my toes curled under until I can take a little check and make sure my heel is in line with my seat. And I take top of feet down. Maybe making some adjustments with the shin, bringing it a little bit more parallel. If you're looking for that deeper stretch in your seat, your back hip, or maybe you're keeping your heel a little closer to your left hip. We're folding and we're evenly distributing the weight. Now this pigeon doesn't work for every set of knees and hips. So if you're happy here, stay here. And if you're not so happy here, I want you to come onto your back, right ankle to left knee, and instead take a reclined pigeon. Both stretch the same area. It's really just personal preference. Some people like that recline, some people think it can make them feel a little bit deeper. Others find that they get this deeper stretch by folding over their pigeon. If you're folded, be really mindful that both hips are carrying equal amounts of weight. And whether you're on back or whether you're folded over, you're inhaling deeply. Imagining every inhale releases the muscles, the ligaments, and allows you to soften open. Every inhale clears your mind, so you can truly just be here and be present in the moment. come up. If you're folded over, if you're on your back, you're exhaling your left foot to the mat. If you're pulling into a downward facing dog, you're pedaling or maybe extending. If you've taken a reclined pigeon, you're windshield wipering. And then let's go ahead and set it up on the opposite side. So you're either dropping your left knee behind your left wrist, right knee down, lining up before you uncurl toes, deciding how parallel you want your shin to the front of the mat, maybe not at all. So if you're folding over, you're evenly distributing the weight in your hips. You're melting down, making a pillow with your hands, and exhaling deeply into the pose. And of course, if you say, nope, recline, and it wouldn't be weird if you even switched in between the poses, it's left ankle, right knee pulling towards you. No matter what variation of the pigeon that you choose, you're breathing deeply, allowing your hips to relax. You're taking a moment for mindfulness, completely clearing out your head. Except for, of course, that one pinpoint of focus. If there's anything you don't want to take with you off the mat, a thought, a feeling, exhale it away, leave it behind. We're here for just a couple rounds of breath, yogis. Put all your focus on those final inhales and exhales of this pose. Alright. Either inhale to palms or exhale now right foot to mat. If you're pulling into a final downward facing, you're paddling or maybe even extending left foot. If you're on your back for a recline, you're taking your knees side to side, windshield wipers. If you're on your back, stay there. We're coming to meet you. We're coming down to knees. We're flipping onto our seat. No fancy setup. We're heading right to our beds. So collectively, we'll land almost like we're going to set up a bridge, but we're not. We are just letting our low back release. The whole torso is completely neutral. We get that through our bent knee. Take your feet to the edges of your mat. Drop your knees together in the center. I like to press into my big toe just a little bit to get a deeper stretch in my inner thighs. And we're also making tons of space in our low back here. I'm going to take my right hand to my belly, my left to my heart. I'm just going to feel my breath rise and fall. If your day at any point becomes overwhelming, try and come back to these deep breaths. Put an inhale between you and anything you're feeling. Alright, knees apart, soles to center. We're going to extend left leg long, and we're going to give right knee a hug into our chest. We're going to set it to the right, maybe give it a little rock, some circles, eventually drawing it over towards right armpit. And one of my new favorite things, take your hand to the outside of your pinky edge or inside. It's truly whatever's accessible. For me, it's the outside of pinky edge. If this pose looks familiar, we're taking half a happy baby. How does that feel in your hips? For me, it's a little bit more intense, but I actually kind of like that. It's nice to change things up, not take the regular old happy baby all the time. Extend your right foot to the ceiling. So we've given our quads some love. Let's open up our hamstring, knees soft, interlacing just wherever you'd like on the back of your right leg. Pulling your leg towards you. The more neutral your foot, the more you'll feel it in your leg. If you want a little ankle stretch, you could point your toe. If your calves could use a little more opening, you could flex your foot. And then give your knee a hug. Left hand takes it across, little ending twist. I'm going to drop my ankle, reach my right fingers, and I'm going to take a look to the right. If looking to the right doesn't work for your neck, face the ceiling. Head center, leg across, give it a squeeze, and send your leg long. So same deal on the left. Inhale, hug. Exhale, bring it in and off to the left. Maybe you'd give it a little rocking rotate. Draw your knee in. And then hand comes to the foot. Like I said, mine's coming to the outside of the pinky edge, but if you prefer to bring it towards the big toe side of your foot, towards your arch, by all means. We are keeping our knee bent and towards our rib cage. That's what makes this half a happy baby. Pretty intense in the hip. Here for one more breath. And then we'll inhale our foot up, finding a neutral stretch. So hold where you'd like, but keep your knee soft. So I probably wouldn't hold behind my knee, just for the sake of keeping it soft. What I am going to do, though, is play with rotating my ankle, pointing my toe, because for some reason the tops of my ankles get really tight. Eventually, though, I go to a neutral foot and I concentrate just on the hamstring. Bend your knee, hug, right hand takes it across. So I say my left is definitely my stickier side. My right ankle falls a little bit easier to the mat. Here, the best I can do is my left big toe. But I am going to release it down, so I'm not holding quite as much. I am going to still reach my left fingers. And for a neutral neck, you're facing the ceiling. If you want that last little bit of neck stretch, take your look to the left. Head center, leg center. Bring it to body. Take right up to meet it. Exhale, squeeze your knees to your chest. Open the low back. Take a rock. Get a little massage. Bring your forehead to your knees. And Savasana. Let the whole body roll open and melt into the mat. Turning every muscle off. turning every thought on. It's almost as though you let go of everything but that steady rise and fall of breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. The breath starts bringing awareness back. So you can start introducing movement to fingers and toes, feet and hands, wrists and ankles. It's the morning. It's still relatively early. So big stretch for the rest of your day. Take with you this length, this release, this energy you've created. Come to your right. Pause. Press up. And as always, I thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.